Okay, so let's just go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care anymore how many posts I've made today. This is the Parable of the Queen's Rage, take 2. I wasn't able to do that within the last couple of days. And this is my wife, Karen. She is also, by the way, the Reverend Dr. Karen Jane Carmody. Okay, she took an ordination right along with me, didn't you, darling?
Yep.
Okay, so by the standards of man's authority, we both got honorary doctorates, right?
Yes.
Okay. What would you say about people who want to make the argument that, for example, your dyslexia makes you mentally retarded?
It ain't gonna wash.
Why?
Because for the simple reason I am God's great daughter.
Okay.
He can't do it. He don't put labels on nobody.
Right. Well, if he doesn't put any boundaries on people, then whatever happened to sin?
Sin is still there. I'm just talking about the instance that you just asked me about.
Okay, so all you're trying to do is answer my question to the best of your mind's ability, right? You don't know where I'm going with this.
No, not at the present time I don't.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. I'm having to provide an example of King Solomon's wisdom. Let's just put an outer boundary on this that makes sense to people.
Well,
okay, and let's pretend just for the moment that I'm like the avatar of King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. Okay? Now, I'm King Solomon, so am I going to screw up as a human being?
Nope.
Wait. Am I going to screw up as a human being?
Yes.
Okay. But I'm the wisest man who ever lived.
Says you.
Bingo. Okay? See, that's the thing. Not even my wife understands where I'm going with this, and it is making us very, very, very angry.
Well, like for instance, okay, my father he had passed away in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And according to a certain sibling of mine, Dad was a deranged bastard and a senile old man. When he died, he made Anita executor of his estate.
Yeah, and you know, forgive me for saying this because, you know, I know that there are families with children going to be watching this. I'm probably going to age restrict this video.
Sorry.
But the reason that we are, you know, adults only as an RPG for right now is that, frankly, none of my teachings are nearly strong enough for children yet.
And anyway, so according to what she had told the lawyer
Mm-hmm.
was that because I read backwards,
right,
that I deserved a rep payee. Well, that didn't wash, that didn't work. It happened to end up being that the money was put into trust due to the county help and the state help I'm on.
Right, and that's what turned our marriage into a federal class welfare fraud, right?
Yeah, well, when we finally got married in October 27, 2012, I immediately did what I was supposed to do.
Right.
On Monday, the day after we got married, I called Social Security and I reported it. And I quote, It will not affect yours and your husband's payment plan whatsoever. Well, lo and behold, you get the call that you are supposed to talk to this bureaucrat. Yank! There goes your SSI. Your wife can support you.
Yeah. See, that's the theory of Uncle Sam. Okay, so again, we're already dealing in like inaccuracies in hard paper law at a minimum to a level of supposedly, the contention of the U.S. government is that because I potentially, not necessarily, but I potentially could have defrauded them, okay, and because her income is equal to my income under one set of rules, okay, she has this small quarterly irrevocable trust that was left to her by her father, okay. The best legal advice we could secure at the time suggested that there was not going to be any conflict of interest, but the reaction we got from the government of the state of Minnesota, see, we're already dealing in economies of scale. Did I offend the feds? Did I offend the state? Did I offend anyone at any point? Okay? Nobody can figure this out. Nobody has told me anything. So, by telling the truth, I got caught in a lie.
So we had to go down to the office to straighten this thing on out so that you can, the month that I get my inheritance dividend,
I get nothing at all.
right, and the other, so therefore you can't pay any utilities, you can't pay any rent, no, nothing.
Yeah, so what has that done to our, just for our, the problem with using this for entertainment, see, I'm supposed to be entertaining the rest of you while you take no action. Okay, well, you take no action toward paying me. I've already proven, ladies and gentlemen, that here I am, stacked at the top of YouTube, about to explode through the top of Google. I crawled through Google's funnel. Okay, I crawled through Google's marketing funnel all by myself, and that was the problem. It almost, again, it almost destroyed me. It almost brought...
once.
What?
It did once.
Yeah, and in other words, I've already gone insane once to try and defend this blueprint. So before you start leveling accusations like, he believes that Joel Osteen the heretic and Joyce Meyer the heretic. Okay? See, I have to demonstrate why I disagree with not just one fallacy, but every lie that the devil ever tells all at once. I have to do it as briefly as possible. Okay? And what is the usual phrase about attempting to do that as a human being? Too much information! Okay?
Well,
that's the human response.
So, therefore, I can speak for myself as well as for my husband, I think, that we are just as human and just as normal as you folks are. The only thing is that he is disabled and so am I.
Right.
And physically, not mentally.
And yet we have been relegated to a status of, like, here I am tracking all this stuff in real time, and we've got less than zero. You want to talk about poverty in America? Okay, on one level, you could sit here and argue that because I'm here on YouTube using a desktop, okay, that costs, my brother, peace be upon him, $2,000 to put together, okay, you could make the standard leftist liberal political argument to say, how dare you say that you're part of the poor in America? Poverty in America is a joke, right? The real poor are off in Africa.
Well, as far as the county is concerned, that the first thing out of their mouths,
first thing out of their mouths is, how dare you have a cat? For one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, alright. His doctor had suggested that we get a companion cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we went through and talked to our doctor, and our doctor went and got it authorized, prescribed it. And so a friend had a kitten that had been abandoned and needed a good home, so we gave it a good home. Her name's Precious.
Right, and she's not around here to be introduced. She was introduced in another video.
Well, she's just doing her cat thing and protecting the household.
Oh, sure.
She's a good mouser.
She's just a cat being a cat.
And so, she is the scared little thing, and so she's just about 2 years old.
Yeah, and yet we've had PCAs come in here and throw her across the room, have we not?
Yes. We also got a bureaucrat that loves to do that too.
Yeah.
And that just angers me. How dare a person be cruel to an animal? They didn't ask to be born into this cruel world.
Right.
So she's the calmest, friendliest cat that you could possibly have.
I mean, she calms me down no end. But the thing is, I spend maybe a good half hour a day just in petting her.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's just a joy. But anyway, the other thing is that I injured my wrist, and the first thing out of the bureaucrat's mouth is, "Did you get to see the doctor?" And I said, "She's on vacation."
Right.
Until this week. And I will see to it I get to the doctor if that is what it's called for. Mm-hmm. Well, you need a walker because obviously you aren't capable of getting around on your own. Baloney.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have a power chair that I use occasionally to go long distances. So does my husband.
Right.
But we can do saying things that you folks can end up doing, maybe not as easily as you guys can, but we can do it.
Now there are certain rumors coming to us on the street from like back channels as to our general impact on the city of Mankato at a minimum, right?
Yeah.
You would agree with me about that, with reference to a certain nameless captain who has committed treason.
Well, I'm even, what makes me frustrated and disgusted is what happened to the rights of a person living in America.
Right.
Because we are disabled, we are kicked, we are ignored, we are dictated to,
yeah.
And I'm sick up to here.
Uh-huh. See, we've got the real-time proof, okay, we've got the real-time proof that there are certain Pharisees operating within, say, the Salvation Army. Okay, I love the Salvation Army. When people operate according to the tradition that the Salvation Army upholds, okay, as religionists, I don't have a problem with them. Okay? My problem with Richard Dawkins is he has a problem with the Salvation Army. He wants all of them to be labeled criminals, okay, believing in a delusional boogeyman.
Well, then also that another one that makes me upset.
Right. Let's talk about who in this town just makes your blood boil, sweetheart, because it's time, okay? It's all coming out. Okay, what does the Bible say about this stuff? It says that the sins you do in the dark will be shouted from the housetops. Okay? And it's basically, we're getting that to a whole new level. Okay, I can waste all my time giving away my proprietary concepts just to prove my personal contention that, we're getting to a point where eventually hard paper law, as I call it, born in the industrial age and in the past, back of that, is just going to be too bloody slow for whatever human future we've got.
So, in other words, that as far as the county and the state are concerned, we have no rights at all. We are just a number, and to be shoved aside and scorned, and I hate it.
Right.
And it's just to the point that it's getting. I just want to just stand in the middle of the floor and say, listen to me, just because I happen to have a degenerative knee problem and that I suffer from post-traumatic stress.
As do I.
Okay,
we had the permission. See, here's the ironic thing, ladies and gentlemen. We had the full documented permission of the state to quote-unquote live together in sin, however you define that. Okay? We could get that much, and it all depended on the heart attitude of the two different captains that we had to deal with within the Salvation Army as to whether we were quote-unquote sinning or not. Okay? One took one position, one took the other.
I just wish that I could switch, I could turn the situation around and let these bureaucrats live in our situation, take their income away from them, and tell them, okay, you only get just so much, this is all you're going to get, pay bills on it.
Yeah. And this is even before we get to the really interesting parts of say, what I've been calling the apocalypse fever, speculations that the mark of the beast is a microchip, and this is what I can prove. Be careful. Be careful, best beloved.
They say that the disabled have the same amount of rights as everybody, that America is supposed to be a free country. I'm beginning to wonder, is it just the case that the non-disabled have all the rights, or what is the case? Because I'm telling you that I like to go on ahead and take every last one of the bureaucrats and BAM!
Uh-huh. But you see, what does Jesus say about that? Okay? What love
Turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. Let yourself get slapped in the head?
Turn the other cheek and forgive them for they not know what they do.
Right. So, so the real Christian answer is not, Hail Caesar, for tomorrow we die. Okay, no, that's not my point. I'm not on the right. I'm not on the left. I'm not even, God help me, exactly in the center, because nobody can really define where the center is. That's the problem. Okay? Nobody is allowed to define, even for themselves, where their moral center is.
Did Jesus not die
once for all?
For all of us?
Right. Once for all men. See,
it was not just the rich. It was not just the poor, not just the disabled, all of us.
Right. And see, that's what's radical about the whole Christian idealism construct. Just blows people away. Okay? So, basically, if I believed in like scripturally principled combat, yeah, there's problem after problem after problem with that too. Let's assume that I'm stealing everything in terms of intellectual property. See, here's the problem with believing that. Okay? If none of these videos are legal, if none of these videos are legal according to, hard paper law, international hard paper law, okay, if what I'm doing on YouTube is illegal, then like, why is Google getting so interested in it? Okay,
well,
why is Yahoo getting so interested in it? Why are all the powers that be that I can find on Earth trying to tell me both things at once?
Well, then, yes, just more or less the case is, where do you and I fit in? Because, right, the government has rules and regulations. The county has rules and regulations.
Right.
So there was one of your nursing staff that came in, and you had just gotten a walker that was prescribed by our doctor, and sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. But according to her, you were supposed to use it 24/7, 365 days a year.
Inside the house, may heaven defend me.
Inside the house, outside the house, never be without it. And that you should go into a nursing home situation, which is assisted living, and live there and be taken care of for the rest of your lives. And
basically here's the government solution on the rights of the disabled. Okay, sit back, relax. We'll take care of you. Just watch your little George Orwell television, and don't worry about the world going to hell in a handbasket, because we will take care of you. See, one of the fallacies about believing in, like the United States territorial government as a savior is, first of all, any sensible person understands that they're not the savior, but the usual social circus's attitude throughout this country is that if a private citizen anywhere is doing anything to help you, then, well, our concern is that this person could disappear from your life tomorrow. Therefore, we have to assume that because we, the United States government, are not doing it, therefore it's not being done.
Well, Alright, when your income was cut out,
Mm-hmm.
you depend on that for shelter, for food, for your meds,
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, and like
And
I have.
so consequently, when they cut, it says that Social Security can't take your benefits away from you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they can.
Well, the government's interpretation of, like, even my feelings about all of this, okay? The 12th, 13th, 15th commandment, whatever it is, by reason of the fact they've diagnosed me bipolar, what are they actually saying? Thou shalt not be angry!
Well, you got angry at the nurse, and you were quite upset. I know how to get you to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get you calm down, and this person was just making you angrier and angrier. And then she started in on me, and I walked on out of the room. She came on after me, and just made me just go on off.
So
needless to say, she's not working with us anymore.
Right. So I mean, thematically, the minimum we can say is, when is it enough? When is it ever enough?
Where do we fit, Fox?
Well, not in the current human matrix, I can tell you that. But we have to deal with the fact that the matrix is not a fantasy construct. It's real, folks.
Well,
okay.
Their policy happens to end up being a hurry up and get us the information by tomorrow. You try to get anything on none of them, and they dink around.
Right. Because they can literally use every legal dodge known to man throughout, like, all of political history and all of social science. That was George Orwell's 1984. We're already there. We're already past it.
Well, our president is also sending our country into rack and ruin.
Right, economically. You and I tend toward being political Republicans, but that doesn't mean anything.
Aside from that,
I mean, I lost access to a very close friend once. Okay, I don't even want to tell them about this person because it has implications for some other stuff we'll get into. But anyway, even when we tried to adopt a certain woman into our family, it's several years ago now that this happened, right? The whole
way before you and I were married.
Right, but I'm talking about the whole Aunt Coco mess.
So am I.
Right. Okay. Well, just take it as read that because this woman did not happen to share my politics or my views on economics or whatever, okay, certain confidences that I was giving her confidentially, and I'm not going to explain who she was because none of you are going to know who she was, okay, but here's the thing. What does it matter when the fact is that she hurt me so badly that I went from trying to create my own newsletter, my own little marketing project, to because this woman I trusted did not share my politics. I was so blown away and hurt by that I did not recover for months. Okay, it was not days, it was not weeks, it was months. Okay, and I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, because I really don't want to give away any more secrets for free. That's the rub right now. Okay? I'm not preaching against the value of money. We all need the small green pieces of paper. God damn it. Okay? We all know this. But, here's the kind of place where I like to speculate. Can we possibly get rid of them at least someday without having to buy into this whole, mark of the beast is a microchip nightmare? That's what I call the apocalypse fever, all right? The human apocalypse is coming on us sooner or later, whether we will or no. Okay? The thing about the dragon is he's always got the death card.
When are people going to end up believing you and I?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when can we act on anything? When can we consent to anything and have anyone anywhere say that it is legitimate, okay, that it is legitimately intellectual if I'm a theist and the person on the other side from me is a philosophical Darwinist? Hello, Richard Dawkins, Mr. Brave New World. Do you begin to understand why I am so combative against you as a person? Not as a person, but as a freaking cultural icon. Okay? I'm not trying to interfere with your right to say what you believe politically, sir. I'm taking offense, if anything, at how dare you say that because I'm trying to do social science, merely soft science, then my religion is bogus because you want to sit there and violate Clark's law and call it equal to the law of identity or the law of causality. All right? I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm asking for. Blessed Saint Jack, help me! This is the Veritasian tradition, ladies and gentlemen, doing this kind of intellectual combat every single day of our lives because we all do it. Okay? I am not about to assert that George Lucas, bought the rights to get into heaven. No. No, no, no. 1,000 times no.
Well,
okay? Disney bought Narnia. They did not buy heaven. Okay?
Calm down.
Yeah. Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You see how many parables are out there? Okay? You see how it both does and does not matter what you start out believing when you start the human game?
I'm not ending up asking you to get on out there and change things on around. What I'm saying is to listen to what we are saying and give it some thought. When you go to the polls, is really stop and think, is this person really for us? Or are they just giving you what you want to end up hearing? And when they get into office, then yank, we never
right,
said
right.
that.
Then it's all bread and circuses. Okay, we want information. I am not a number. God damn it! I am a free man.
Well, in fact, you had an instance not too long ago that you needed assistance from a lawyer. You called the lawyer to ask him some advice, and he had told you, I don't have time to represent you. No, it wasn't strictly even that. What he told me was, I'm not that particular level of legal specialist, but as an off-the-cuff opinion,
the government is right, and it's not so much that your contention is wrong, is that you don't have a case because the current law is written according to the way they want to interpret it. Because the U.S. government is acting correctly in their own eyes, therefore, you have no case.
Well, even a while back, we had a mold issue in here.
Yeah.
And so we had hired a lawyer to end up helping us.
And a home inspector.
Yeah, and a home inspector, and they found evidence that there was a heck of a lot of mold, and with my asthma, it's deadly to me.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone anybody else. And so we went into court, and all we got satisfaction is that the manager was willing to clean the carpet. He did a half horse's tail job of it.
Right.
Because the mold issue is still here.
And that wasn't even the funny part. You want me to tell him the funny part, the part Larry found out when he did the original part of the investigation?
Go for it.
Okay. The landlord's original contention at the time, and see, I can say this because the man is retired. Okay, there's no question of legal liability by whatever standard. Okay, but the landlord's original contention at the time was, well, Fox must be wasting his time in taking a sledgehammer to the front steps of the building. And, oh, by the way, the reason there's mold in there is that he pissed on the ceiling. Okay, now how am I going to do that, ladies and gentlemen? See, that's where it gets...
It just happens to end up being the air conditioner.
Yeah, I mean,
condenser is cracked.
Right, the condenser is cracked, so it can't possibly work right.
Okay. So consequently, we smell the mold. We have to put up with water dripping into our ceiling. And in fact, a short time ago, both Bucks and I were gone for the day. When we came home, we opened up the door, and from the hall light to the door that we came in on, it was missing a ceiling tiles. The tiles had gotten wet, and they broke all to pieces onto our floor. I called management because there's quite a bit of water that was dripping. They had put a pail underneath it, got maintenance on up the next day to take care of it, and what they had mentioned was, well, I can't do anything more until it's completely dried on out. And the problem really wasn't really fixed to a certain extent, because what they do, they went on ahead and they put new tile on in, and then where the water damage was, they sprayed it with paint.
Yeah, which
is not going to take care of
which actually helps the mold to grow. You want to talk about a homegrown chemical weapon? That's basically what mold turns into when you add paint to it.
So eventually, as soon as we can get finances going, we are going to move on out of here. But it's just people like this, because it is government owned.
Yeah, this is officially Section 8 housing. So the rules of the feds say that, everything that is happening that we consider to be evil, either it isn't happening or at very least it shouldn't be happening, except that Okay?
Well,
Except that there's corruption by men. It's not about corrupt rules. It's about corrupt individuals.
They badly need the stair step fixed on the garage.
They desperately
need a turnaround.
Yeah, they desperately need a parking turnaround in the building, and
And yet, the owners close their eyes to it. It don't exist. They're just blowing off steam.
Right.
They're disabled. They don't know nothing.
Right. So theoretically, I've made a potentially libelous attack against Atwood Properties just by mentioning names. Okay. You want to talk about what's legal and what's not? Yeah, bring it on. Okay?
I wouldn't mention any further names. I don't want to get kicked out of here.
Right.
Anyway, the cat's gonna stay.
Mm-hmm.
She's on the ledge of the window watching and giving herself a tongue bath.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, no, if you think this is a despairing rant, then you look at it in one way. Okay? I choose to believe that there is hope. I choose that Jesus brings hope into this situation.
Well, for aid that did kick her.
Mm-hmm.
Precious stood up on her hind legs and fought back. Then she scratched her, and she says, "I'm going to go and call the agency and tell you got a mean cat."
Right. And yet what does the agency say about us? We're not mentioning names here again. But what does the agency actually say about us?
When you usually say that you smell smoke, there's a reason for it. That they're genuinely speaking, there is one. We're one of their best clients.
Yeah, we're one of. Okay, the manager of our agency has said to me, and not just once, but over and over again. She said to me, Fox, you guys are some of the gentlest, soft-spoken, easiest clients we have. Okay? So, we have a reputation with that entire agency.
Well,
and I plan on protecting it.
Well, the Fox, every last one of our PCAs, keep telling us that we're a joy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
There's one woman there that hasn't been with us not quite a year yet, and she had mentioned. She says, "I actually look forward to coming here to end up working because you're so easy to work for. You're fun."
Mm-hmm.
Heck, Greg, that there's been times that we've been known to go shopping up at the mall.
Yeah.
There's been times we've gone to a movie.
Right. They're always blown away by the idea that they can actually get paid for going to movies with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we ride the mobility bus to end up getting to our appointments, they go along as part of the equipment.
Okay. But anyway, I gotta close this up. Okay, God bless you, Brian the White. You have I entertained the people or not? That's the whole question. Okay, if you're
being anxious to hear some of your comments.
Yeah, please comment, please subscribe. It's time for people to subscribe. Okay, it's time for people to actually take a stand. I'm not saying pay me yet. Not even saying that. Don't pay me till you trust me.
Even folks, even if they just say good job, at least that tells us maybe we did make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I gotta shut this down. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta get going too.
All right. So we love you, internet serfs, but the real problem from your end of the pipe is nobody's taking action. And I want to see that get changed real quick, okay? Heaven defend you all. Good night.